Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today is a story time video. So I haven't really been doing story time videos in the longest amount of time, so your girl is going to speak about some kind of little story along the line most recently that happened. So if you're interested, then stay tuned and let's get on rolling into the video. So if you've been keeping up to my videos, up to date with them, watching them, then you know that I'm on the lookout for accommodation, so suitable accommodation for my little fam and I. So I've been looking for so long now, and luck has not come my way at all, unfortunately. But let me tell you, I got a viewing. So before I get into speaking about the viewing, about my viewing and how it went, by the way, it was an absolute failure. I'm just going to break it down to you, but you gotta hear how it went so badly wrong. But first of all, I want to let you know how I got the viewing. So my sister, if you've been keeping up to date again, used to live with me. So she is a good bit older than me. She's about 8 years older than me, and she had her own life once, but then she came back living with my parents and I. And obviously she needed her own accommodation, suitable accommodation that was the right amount of money every month and everything like that. And she met a really nice person that treats her so well, and they got accommodation and moved in together. But they do not live around the area that I'm living in, so they moved out a good bit, which is about a 45-minute drive. So they took that apartment, and during then that landlord was really genuine, really nice to them, and he took their deposit and first month's rent, everything like that, and they got their key. So the apartment overall was a really nice, tidy apartment. It wasn't top notch, I'm not gonna lie to you all, but it was really suitable. It was a good apartment. All it really needed was a bit of cleaning, because every apartment when you move in or home, even if it's brand new, it's just. I started looking outside the box, looking at accommodation in the area that my sister was living in, and I got through to this landlord, and he was a really nice, genuine man on the phone. But unfortunately, I just wasn't able to afford accommodation that he had. And then there was another landlord in the same area that didn't accept HAP, which is like a rent allowance thingy, so they'll help you out and everything like that. I won't go too much into it, but yeah, that did not succeed. But he was nice enough to give me a phone number of a landlord which was also in the area. So the name clicked to me, and long story short, it was my sister's landlord. So over him being a nice man, I said, why not? I'm going to give him a call. I'm going to see if does he have any apartments available for rent. So I ring him up, and he's like, hello, blah blah blah, and he's like, well, I have an apartment, but there's a guy supposedly meant to be leaving a deposit down this evening. So he didn't leave the deposit down all that day. He said if he didn't, he'd get back to me the following morning. I was lingered out till the following morning, and it turns out he paid the deposit. So I was on such a downer, as you can only imagine, because I knew that I would have gotten something nice enough, because I knew it was on the same block as my sister's apartment also. So he paid his deposit, he got the apartment, but that man was nice enough. So yeah, he was really nice enough to ring me back a couple of days later. And as he rang me on the phone, I was actually on my way out to go off somewhere, and I seen his name come to my phone, and I knew he was ringing, obviously. So he rang me anyhow, and he was like, I have another apartment for rent. It's not the apartment that you were in for, but it's a different one. So the apartment block that my sister lives in, there's a couple apartments, so I assumed there and then it was going to be one of those apartments. So I went out to the area where the apartment was. He practically said it would be mine and come and view it. So that's what I done anyhow. So me and my mom drove back, and the baby. So I was not familiar with these roads, because my sister hasn't been living there long anyhow. So we drove back, and I actually pulled up outside my sister's apartment block the same day she was not there, so I didn't get a chance to go in and visit her. But I was there like a week beforehand for a little short visit. But anyhow, so when I went to the viewing, it turns out it was not in that little apartment block. He told me to walk uptown, but the parking situation was so bad. So I left my mom and the baby in the car. She had to look after the baby when I was gone for a couple of minutes. So I walked uptown by myself, and I met the landlord. He was walking towards me on the street. My mom didn't know where I went, so she hadn't a clue. All she knew was I was walking up ahead, and I turned some corner. So the guy anyways was like, hey, whatever, open the door of this apartment apartment. So this is another apartment block, but it turns out there's only 2 apartments in this little block. When you open the door looked quite newish. You know, I thought that I was in for something really nice. But yeah, he brought me into the apartments, and it turns out that this apartment looked ancient. Well, it was ancient by the looks of it. And as I looked around, I knew there and then, like, no, this is not for me. And I was really disappointed because before I left from where I am now, I bought my cleaning products. I brought back some things in my bag because I was fully sure like I was getting this apartment. So in the viewing, I was looking around. He sat in a different room. I won't lie, I was a bit panicky. I was like, you know, I don't know this guy. All I know him from is my sister, and at that, I've never seen him before, only now. And at that as well, my mother didn't know where I was gone to. So God forbid, I could have been gone anywhere. I could have been abducted, anything. But thankfully, I was not. So he sits in the living room area while he gives me time to have a look around the apartment. And the minute I stepped into this apartment, like, I knew there and then I did not want it. It did not suit me. The door was not secure enough. It was like a wooden door, and one kick and this door is drove in, literally. That is not safe at all by any means, especially with a baby. Like, I'd even be paranoid with myself, but living with a baby would make me 100 times as worse. So I went into the bedroom, and that's my main thing, because I really want nice bedrooms for me and the baby, because that's why I want to get out of home as well, and I want my own place, because I want us to have really nice bedrooms I can do up from scratch. But obviously you want them really presented really well. The bedrooms were literally every colour. They were really closed in. The furniture was so bad, it was ancient. By looking at it, it was just through their years. The floor and everything was way off, way off. It was not for me. So I'm walking around the hall area, and I walk into the bathroom. The bathroom has no light on it. The light was not working. The flooring as well, everything was bad. Did not suit me at all. I had a bath, that was the only good thing about it. So I walk out again. I'm walking through the hallway, and I go into the double bedroom, which would have been my bedroom if I picked the apartment. It was blue. It was like this colour blue, same colour as my t-shirt. There was a little small window, and there was a bed, and the bed was so old as well, and there was 2 wardrobes, and they were so old. The carpet was way off as well. I did not like it. I'm not being choosy, but when you have a baby, you want something really nice and respectable. It's obviously you're going to have to buy your own things and put them into it. Like, if it wasn't furnished, fair enough, that would be okay in a way. But these things, like, I was thinking, it's a rented accommodation. They're going to have to stay there. I'm not going to be able to get rid of them. You're going to have to look at them every day, and I did not want that. So I walked back out into the living room area, and in the living room area, it's also combined with a kitchen. So there's a small worktop place where you do your cooking, whatever, whatnot, and then there's the living room area. So there's a coal bunk there, and I noticed there's a stove also, which obviously, like, you know, I don't even think I can light a fire. So I'm like, okay, but obviously it's good for the winter and everything, so obviously keep you warm. Yeah. But yeah, I'm there chatting to this man, and I'm looking around the room as I'm speaking to him, and the couches are so old. All the the flooring was lina, and it was all like burned. It was all burn marks everywhere, and it just didn't look well presented at all by any means. Like, I'm thinking in my head, how would this landlord even try and rent this accommodation up to someone, especially a mother of a baby? Like, it's ridiculous. So I'm still looking around, and I see everything look odd. The only good thing about this apartment was the bath and the little stove, the little fireplace. But yes, I start asking him about the parking situation, because my car is at the middle of the other side of the town. He's like, yeah, the parking's grand, blah blah blah, but to me it didn't look round. There was cars parked everywhere, and if I drove down there like with my man, the baby in the car, I would have never get my car in any park. So that was also a downfall for me. So I says to him straight out, no word of a lie, the apartment was meant to be €540 a month. Yeah, $540 a month, which I thought was really steep, not being like, you know, but I thought it was really expensive for my liking, especially the way it was. Like, you'd expect to pay for a new apartment out of that money. So I'm like, to be honest, I'm just going to call him Jerry, for example. To be honest, Jerry, this apartment needs a lot of work. Straight out, I did not give up. I did not care. It's going to need a lot of work, and I'm going to have to put a lot of money into it to get it done up, to paint it, to put things into it, you know, all the little extras. So I'm there telling him that, and I was like, was this apartment not done up, blah blah blah, and I'm like, who's living here before? He said it was a girl, he told me the name of the girl, and the girl was from my local area apparently. But this girl, like, I know her, but I told him I didn't know her because she was like a past friend. But the same girl, I'm not going to mention any names, I heard she's been on drugs, she was on heroin, which I do, my heart pours for her, but I'm not going to bring my baby, especially, into accommodation with heroin that was going on in that apartment. Not a hope. No. So, I didn't want this apartment. I just said to myself, okay, I'm going to ask him anyhow. So I say to him, look, Jerry, whatever his name is, I'm going to call him Jerry in the video. Anyhow, I'm like, is there any way you can put down the rent? Because the rent is really high and I don't think it's worth it much to save. And he's like, oh, what are you entitled to rent allowance? And I'm like, with me and the baby, I'm entitled to 480 euro a month. So he's like, yeah, I can do it for 480 a month. Whereas that means that he knocked a good bit off. The apartment was 540 and he was given this apartment desperately to be for 480, which is what I'm entitled to. So there and then I knew well that, like, no, I am not taking this apartment. It's not for me, and I'm on a complete downer. So my last words, what I said to Jerry, for example, you know the drill, I said, I'm going to go uptown and I want to get to know the place more, and then I'll be back to you in half an hour, or I'll ring you or whatever, and I'll let you know the story, what I think, if I'm taken or not. So he's like, blah blah blah, yeah, whatever. I walk back down to my mother and she's in the car with the baby and she's just looking at me. And I'm walking up the road, so I'm like, no. And my mother was like, what happened? What went wrong? And I'm like, Mom, you should have seen this apartment. He was like, you can bring your ma down if you want and she can view it. But I know my mother, like, she does not lie on her own dirt. She would not go into that apartment, and she definitely wouldn't expect a baby and me to go in there. So I sat in the car for a few moments and I was just telling her all about this horrible apartment that I did not take and did not want. God forgive me, I'm very sorry, but I just couldn't. And I am really desperate, but lads, I'm not going to walk myself into a combination where there was heroin in it staying and it was not presentable at all by any means. Like, if I was to take that apartment, I would have been out a lot of money. Like, I'm going to have to buy gallons of paint and a lot of things for that apartment. Like, the floor and everything would have had to be taken up, and that was not my job to do. Like, I imagine when I get accommodation, that's going to be done for me, and that's how you get tenants to rent your accommodation. The only way someone will go into that apartment is if they're badly off or if they're heavy on drugs. No offense to anyone, but that's the only way, because no way in hell was I taking this. This was not suitable for me, not a hope, and definitely not for a baby. So time had passed and I rang him up and I said, hello Jerry, like that. I goes, I'm not taking the apartment because it's going to cost a lot of work to be done up, and it's going to cost a lot of money out of my pocket, and I don't have that money. So that was it. He was totally fine with it. He wasn't any bit rude or anything like that. So now I just left it be and I drove home. It was a really foolish journey, but in the end I was just so grateful that I didn't take it and make the wrong decision and take the wrong step. Now I'm just going to go with the flow and see what comes to me. So that was my really bad experience of viewing accommodation that I could have gotten but I didn't take. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and I have a lot more story times and other videos along the way. Thanks for watching guys. Till next time. Bye.